I mean, I think that's what Parker talks about all the time, like faking it till you make it.
Yeah.
And that's literally what I did.
Yeah.
And I sent them this video and they loved it.
Yeah.
And they just kept sending us on different tours, and they started paying us.
That's so cool.
So they sent us to Vegas. Like, I think I was like 16 or 17 at the time. We went to Vegas for one of their events.
Yeah.
Like, we weren't even old enough to stay in the hotel, bro.
Yeah.
Like, it was like they had to let us in themselves.
That's
like,
so cool.
And so I got pretty quickly the first like experience with like event videography and just client work in general.
Yeah. Cool, we ready? Blake, welcome to A Filmmaker's Journey.
Thank you, man.
Dude, you're our first guest that came here from out of state.
Yes, sir.
Holy crap.
I love it.
We're making it. We're bigger. We're more big time than Utah.
Yeah. Yeah, you're starting to branch out. Right?
Yeah, welcome to Utah and
man.
the podcast.
Yeah.
Thanks for being here. You're from Arizona?
Yes. Yeah, I've been there for about 8 years.
Cool.
Originally, I lived in Scottsdale for a bit, and then currently I'm in Tempe just to be more central to family. I've got family there, and it's also like 8 minutes from the airport. So if I need to be anywhere, like come and get this morning, you know, it took me an hour and 15 to get here. So
that's what I love about this location is we're central to Provo, we're central to Salt Lake City, and then the airport's just 30 minutes away. It's like, it's been great. So I totally understand that. What's the filmmaking scene out in Arizona like?
It's a mix of everything.
Yeah.
It's I've been fortunate enough to do a lot of everything. Honestly, it started a lot with testimonial stuff, a lot of corporate stuff. A lot of my background's actually in documentary storytelling, and so I love doing a lot of having that emphasis on storytelling in general and capturing raw emotion. So that was my main thing, is focusing more on that with my own business and with the work I want to pursue as well. So I just kind of wanted to do that, and there's a lot of that kind of stuff there, a lot of weddings.
Cool.
I've done like 3 or 4 weddings. That's not my primary thing, but I actually just got done with a wedding and Telluride.
Heck yeah.
That was a fun one because it was like on this mountaintop.
Yeah.
I was there for half a week, and it was more of a docu-style shoot with that kind of approach in mind. So
that's cool when you can put a cool spin on weddings and try to make them different versus
it wasn't your average like wedding video.
Show up, do the same kind of thing. That's when I got burned out with weddings. It's like it was hard for me to push what I wanted to do, and also I wanted to do other things, but I was doing first looks, and that was kind of my like cinematic, like try to make things cool. But then it was rinse and repeat, same shots, same different couples. Anyway, got bored with it
for sure.
But Curry Media, I love that name. It's Tyson Media.
Media. Same. Yeah,
we can relate.
It's easy. It was easy. Yeah. I mean, there's a few things in the pipeline that I was coming up with, but I just wanted to keep it simple. Not overthink it. It's a black and white like font. It's super.
I love your logo animation. It's really cool.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, man.
I had a lot of people. I was debating. I had 2 names.
Yeah.
Tyson Media was one of them, and everyone I talked to were like, "You got to be careful, man. You want to like build a business to sell it, and if it's called Tyson Media." And I just never agreed with it. I was like, okay, well, look at Tyson Chicken.
Yeah, that's true.
That's a company.
That's true.
And I think that you can build a brand around a name.
Right, for sure.
Here's the problem. Is that I am so engulfed in my business because I can do everything. I'm not like coming out an operations side and making a media company. I am the media. And so it kind of limits us to grow because everything can fall on my shoulders, which is great because I can make more money, but scaling is hard. And then if I want to sell it, I really have to get to a point where I am not that, or at least just get acquired because they're going to be buying me. And that's always going to be the case. So, but using your last name is going to be a lot easier if you ever wanted to get to that point.
Yeah. I mean, for me, the reason why I chose it was the passion piece. You know, that was a piece of advice early on from Devin that I got indirectly, which was fight for your passion. And so for myself, that's how I've always been. So, you know, my work, there's the balance and the rhythm that you struggle with, right? With your personal life and your creative ambition. And so for me, I wanted to kind of have that rhythm, but naturally it's always just been a part of my life. I've been very much passionate about what I've always done. And, you know, you go through ebb and flows with the burnout and like that, which we'll talk about in a minute. But it's that's a big reason why I chose it, just because it obviously connects with me and what I do. So
totally. And when you came in here, we met for the first time and you started to talk, and I was like, dude,
save it, bro.
Save it for the podcast, because you were starting to talk about something, and it was also something that was cool to me when you reached out. I don't feel like I've had a lot of influence on people. My network, my following isn't like a Supertramp or a Parker or these guys that have big followings and have created something that has influenced a lot of people. But you said otherwise, and that struck me. I was like, that's super interesting. So continue on that thought that you were about to go down when we were first chatting, because I'm excited to hear about it, because like I said, I'm just a dude that feels like I'm just trying to help people.
For sure.
But it sounds like I've had a little bit of influence.
Yes. We emailed a little bit back and forth. And I think in the middle of that conversation, you're like, oh man, don't just come out here for a podcast, or just don't, I think you're already kind of like playing it small in your mind of yourself. Yeah. And
which I just did it again.
And I wanted to encourage you, right? Yeah. Because that is something that, people see that in me. I don't see that in myself.
Yeah. It's hard
because I'm a human being.
Yep.
But for you, and the reason why I even got into filmmaking was because of you guys.
Dang.
Like 100%.
Yeah.
I would not be where I'm at if it wasn't for you, if it wasn't for Devin, Parker, all of them guys. Like, I wouldn't be where I'm at.
Yeah.
When I first started, I just mimicked everything after what you guys were doing.
Yeah.
Like I bought a glide cam. I have a red. Like I do all these things. I started wearing snapbacks backwards, right?
Way full.
Just because you guys were wearing that, And so I started mimicking essentially what you guys were doing.
Yeah.
But to that thought, right, that we're talking about, I want to encourage you that you have had a massive impact on not only my life, but like there's probably so many other people around you, your team, and people that you don't even realize see you and see the work that you're putting in. And not just that, but just the trajectory that you've played in other people's lives. And from my example, it's been like, this is the first time we've met in person. Yeah. This is the first time we've communicated.
Yeah.
And you've already had an impact on my life, right?
Dang, dude.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. Like it makes it real for me. I think I told you that when I was, and you're like, dude, no, I think you've had more of an impact than you realize. Yeah. Which is cool for me, because that's where I'm at in my career. And that's a big reason I'm doing this podcast, is this community, this career, this, filmmaking in general has just given me so much, and it's set my life up. It's all I've ever done. Really pursued. Yeah. And so it's like, this is a chance for me to give back and hopefully even have more of an impact than I have in the past. So when I heard that from you, it was like, dang, this is really neat. And then the fact that you're like, I want to come out there and be on the podcast. I'm like, yeah, don't do that. You're like, no, dude, this is cool. This is cool for me. So now it's cool for me, man. I appreciate you coming out here, making the trip to be on the podcast. This feels
like surreal.
Yeah.
Like this feels like a dream.
That's cool.
Like this is amazing.
I've had that feeling when I remember the first time I went into Devin's house. And I was like,
yeah, man,
dude, I've seen this on videos. So I have to imagine it's similar feelings.
Yeah.
And so I'm excited to hear about this journey you've been on. And so let's go back to, we didn't do an introduction. We just went straight into like, wait, while you're here, I want you to introduce yourself, Blake, and give us your name, what you're doing currently in your career. What it's all about.
Yeah, I think the timing's perfect for today because I think I mentioned I was working at a destination agency. Yeah. Doing a lot of destination marketing. So every other week I'd be on the other side of the country shooting social ads and commercials for resorts and hotels. And I essentially gave them a notice yesterday.
No way.
And gonna do my own thing full time with Curry Media.
Cool.
And that's currently where I'm sitting right now, is kind of finishing that out strong. Yeah. And I've already got a few things lined up for 2026. I'm super excited. And this is the first, I felt like there was a dwindling of my creative input for a few years. Yeah. And I mean, you could relate to that with Team Supertramp and everything, and, going on all those trips and just being exhausted. That's how I felt. Like I would go on these trips and I wouldn't be excited about waking up and being like, I don't really want to do what I'm about to do. And so where I'm currently at is going all in on Curry Media, looking to expand that and looking to grow that, and just again putting my mark and my own ownership on the projects that I create.
Yeah.
And it's been a lot of fun so far. Like we just got done with that docu wedding shoot. We shot like a bigger budget commercial like a month ago, and it was so much fun. Just from pre-production to post-production, like having your whole say in everything is just. I'm just like, yeah, like it's so much work.
Yeah.
But it's a different kind of fulfillment to me than going to a job 9 to 5, you know, and you don't fully own the product at the end of the day, you know, and I feel like I get to serve my clients way better because now I'm putting myself into a position to where I have more capacity and more time to actually invest. So,
and you care about it too. While I'm about to ask this question, Ben, will you pull up his Instagram just so we can see some of the stuff?
Yeah.
One of the best examples, well, it's your baby. You care about it. And so you want to put all your effort into it. You care more about every project. It's got your name attached to it. And a fun example of that, before I ever felt that, I was actually at Supertramp, and I started it was like a workout business, and we actually called it Modern Dad Bods. And it was
really?
It was me and my buddy, and we were starting just a clothing brand for dads that looked great, because there's the dad bod, and we were going to be the Modern Dad Bods that actually didn't have basically a dad bod.
Yeah.
Anyway, started that, and I just remember telling Zane, I was like, dude, this feels so good to own something, for it to be mine. And for because I've been creating for Devin all this time, and then I went and created for Nomadic for all that time, and then when I actually started my business so I got a little taste of that early, and then Tyson me. So I totally get what you're saying when it comes to like ownership and just having it be yours. And the truth is if you love it, it's going to just continue to be something that you're going to do, and you won't burn out. You might just change and adapt. And that's been a theme for people, is like, you're going to go do this 5 to 10 years. You're going to get to a point where you're like, man, depending on where you go, you might get to a point like I did, where it's like, I need a new challenge. I need something else to try. So I'm stoked for you, dude.
Was
I think
this
that's
a part of that new challenge for you, the podcast?
Yes, 100%. This is a passion project. This is something, like I said, a way to give back. But it's also a really cool networking tool. It's getting filmmakers in the studio. So this is supporting Tyson Media at the same time, because we're getting the word out. Like, I've had many of the filmmakers that have been on the podcast now come to the studio and rent it. So it's a huge networking tool. It's a way to give back, and a way to help Tyson Media grow. So it's got a bunch of different plays in it, but
that's so cool, man.
It's also my whole thing right now, to kind of answer your question in a different way, is I want to run the business now, and not necessarily do all the filming and editing, although I do love to direct and still edit. And
do you feel like you're getting that burnout from being in the trenches with editing, with shooting? Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. You're literally talking to me as I'm in the trenches. Because we had I've talked about this on the podcast. I actually it would have come out by the time this one comes out, but I was talking to Willem at Mystery Box, and the owner of that was just telling me, it's like, you're gonna have 2 years, and think about this as you grow your business, because I think it's pretty accurate. And I've even heard other gurus say it, where it's like, you're gonna have 2 years. It's always every 2 years it's going up, and you're gonna go down. It's never a consistent climb, right? But it seems to kind of float around the 2 year mark, where you're gonna have 2 years of really great growth, and you will have that because you're new. You're gonna have a ton of momentum, but then things happen. You start to get employees. You start to need new clients, because maybe clients want to try something else, and you'll get overhead, you'll have expenses, and then you start to decline. But the whole point is 1 step back, right? 2 steps forward.
Right.
And we hit that 2 steps back after about the 2 year mark, because expenses grew. And we were finding new niches and new products. And then we're kind of out of that climb now. And it's fun, but it's a challenge. So
you've always had that itch too, right? For
absolutely
entrepreneurship.
For sure. I got a job offer right after. They're a client still. Okay. But right after Nomadic, they knew I was leaving Nomadic to start my business. And they were a client, and they're like, hey, we understand you're going to leave Nomadic to do your business, but we want to offer you a full-time position in equity to be our videographer. And I'm like, I gotta scratch this itch, dude. I appreciate you offering it. I'd love you to be a client, but if I don't do this in 2 years, I gotta leave you guys, because like, I gotta go do the business.
Because you're always gonna have that thing, right?
Exactly.
That's exactly what I felt. I felt that, like, you know, I've done like freelance and things like that, but I've never like built my own like video production company.
Yeah.
Like I've always done my own projects just on my own and have people hire me out, which I love to help people and collaborate. But, you know, to say that like I own my own business is something that has always been super appealing to me. And it's always been appealing to me since high school, you know, but I just never really took that jump until now. Yeah. And so but I also look at like the last like 9 years that I've been doing this, and I've learned and grown so much, and I continue to do so. And I like, you know, I only know so much and I'm always learning. And so, yeah, it's always, I think for me, like having that mentality of being a student always, no matter how much you know, because the more I try to figure out how much I know, the more I actually understand I don't know
for
much.
Sure.
And so for me, like just kind of having that heart of, again, being grateful for the opportunity to even do this. Yeah. Like not many people do.
For sure.
So,
and it's just all about progress. And so this is the next step in your journey, and I'm excited for you, but I'm also worried about you because it's hard.
Yeah, dude.
So anyone that does it is like, this is so fun. And there's that honeymoon phase, and it's like,
for sure.
But dude, I think that if you've had 9 years of experience, a lot of people will just go straight into being an entrepreneur without a reputation or any credibility, no clients, maybe a couple. And it's like way harder to get going. But if you have that foundation that you worked for other businesses, you had a consistent paycheck, you let someone else let you make mistakes on their dime, and got better and then you start to network along the way, you have more of a foundation, which is essentially how I started my business. Is it's like I always did the side hustle. My business is like 20 years old. I started it right out of high school. And so but I didn't actually go full time until 5 years ago. But I had this like side hustle, this drive to know it would eventually be a thing, but I wasn't ready for it.
Right.
So I took the opportunities that came. I learned from Supertramp. I learned from Nomadic, a bunch of other clients. And once that time came, it was like, duh, it's time. Because essentially I replaced my income with my business side hustles.
Right.
So,
right.
Yeah, dude, I think you got a great foundation. I'm excited for you. And that's where we're going to dig into it. Cause I'm excited to hear about your future plans, which is the 5 to 10 years. And that comes at the end, but let's go all the way to the beginning of where it started for you.
That's the fun part.
And I'm excited to pick that apart.
Yeah.
So where did it start?
Yeah. Well, so it's like every other filmmaker you talk to, you know, picked up a camera when I was young. Yeah. Picked up like a mini DV tape camcorder, you know, and
how old are you?
I'm 26,
okay,
27.
You were messing with DVs, so you would have been really young.
Yeah, I was like elementary school.
Yeah, because I was in high school.
Yeah.
I would have been just getting into high school and using DV tapes.
Yeah. So I was just messing around with it, and, you know, I just fell in love with it. Yeah. And middle school came, and we started creating like little action short films. And I brought like all my little friends together, and we started making all these little films, you know. And I was like, oh, this is just a lot of fun. It just felt like I had an outlet to pursue different things. And then the thing for me with filmmaking is, and this is again kind of going back to my own childhood, my upbringing, is it connects a lot to kind of like the dysfunction of my upbringing of growing up. My mom was a strong presence in the house. My dad wasn't at all. He was not around. And he was also a pretty big like alcoholic, and so that was kind of an issue. And so pretty quickly I had to, you know, find kind of an outlet that wasn't destructive, you know? Yeah. And so when freshman year came, I started getting into kind of this depression, and I was like, I need to find a way to get out of this. And I was like, well, I have a camera, you know, I have a Canon 60D that I bought on eBay for $400. And when I was a freshman, I started, again, just getting back into little YouTube videos and recording content. And then you guys kind of came onto the scene with Supertramp. And so I think I was like probably a sophomore when I saw the first video. It was the rope swing through the arch. Yeah. And I was like, bro, what am I looking at right now?
It was like everyone's first touch point into Supertramp.
I was like, this is insanity. Like there's a dude that's doing this for a living online. Yeah. And so I was like, how is he doing all this stuff? And then he posted, I remember that. So Devin posted, it was like a 20-minute long presentation video about essentially how to get clients. Like he was on stage talking to a university or something. Yeah. And I was just in class with like my headphones in, listening to this video, like just disregarding
high school.
Oh, dude, disregarding the class,
of course,
and everything. And I was like, oh, so all I have to do is just like email clients. And I had nothing to show for, but I was like, well, I have a camera and I don't need money. I just want to shoot what they're doing.
Yeah.
Right. And so I reached out to the Color Run, which is like a 5K event.
Yeah.
There's like the color throw at the end. And the reason why I reached out to them was I think he also released, it was like that, it was in Spanish Fork.
Yeah.
Right?
The Palace,
like the insane color throw festival or whatever.
Color throw festival. Yeah. And then they had I'm pretty sure my brother-in-law actually worked for the Color Run. And so I went, did a video for my vlog at the Color Run.
Really?
And so that's fun that you actually,
what's his name?
His name's Chad, but he was only there for like a year, and but was part of the marketing team. And so the whole the idea was like to get me more involved, and then he ended up getting fired.
Okay. I mean, I remember them being really cheap.
Yeah, and that was part of it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and they really kicked off, I think, around 2015. Like that's really when they like doing international tours and things like that. And so I just reached out to the event director at the time, who also actually now lives in Arizona. I caught up with him like a few months ago, and I just reached out and I was like, hey, my name's Blake. Nothing, like no business, like with nothing to show for. But I said, I'm not asking for money. All I'm asking for is that you give me the opportunity to come and shoot what you're doing. Yeah. And he emailed me back like a day later. And he's like, yeah, of course. Like we have this, at the time I was living in Colorado. Yeah. And the first event video I did was at Copper Mountain. Cool. Colorado. Yeah, it's this video.
Wow, talk about timing, Ben. Good job.
Dude, solid. Man's over there on time. So this is like the very first like take on any professional gig in video I ever did.
Dude, we've got to contrast this with mine. Will you look up mine?
I would love to.
I have one. It's on my Tyson and Haley YouTube channel. You'll have to scroll down, but it's fun because it's very similar as far as like
incorrect frame rates and
exactly like that, dude.
But yeah, man, we got out there. I brought like 2 other guys with me, and they were kind of like assisting me. And I had my Canon 60D. Yeah. I had a lens I bought for like $25. It was a Sigma 18 to like 50.
$25, I think.
Yeah. Dude. Yeah. And I have it on my desk actually still.
Dude, I love that.
And it's covered in like color.
Yeah.
And then I also bought, it was a cheap $80 glide cam off of eBay. It was like this big.
Oh, the big old fat bottoms. Yeah, I still have mine.
And I just went out there and I was like, we're doing it. Yeah. We're doing it, you know?
I love that.
And so, yeah, we got out there, we shot this thing, and, you know, I got on the stage, and that was like my favorite part, because then they're like bringing people on the stage and like they're dancing, and
you got a taste of what a camera can give you access to.
Exactly.
It's like, oh, he belongs on this stage because he has a camera.
Yeah. And like I just had my camera, and I just again, like I was like, all right, I'm just gonna get in there and see what happens. And I mean, I think that's what Parker talks about all the time, like faking it till you make it. Yeah. And that's literally what I did. Yeah. And I sent them this video, and they loved it. Yeah. And they just kept sending us on different tours, and they started paying us.
That's so cool.
So they sent us to Vegas. Like, I think I was like 16 or 17 at the time. We went to Vegas for one of their events. Yeah. Like, we weren't even old enough to stay in the hotel, bro. Yeah. Like, it was like they had to let us in themselves.
That's
like,
so cool.
And so I got pretty quickly the first like experience with like event videography and just client work in general. Yeah. And they never had notes for me. Like it was always approved, like first go.
Way cool. That's the ideal part.
Dream.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah. And it's funny because I reached out to him a few months ago, and I talked to him about this video. Yeah. And I said, did you think at the time it was actually that good? And he's like, yeah, man. Like, I thought it was great. I was like, really?
That's so funny.
Yeah.
That's cool, man. And that's cool that you turn that into a client. Oh yeah, here's mine. And it's more of a vlog style. On. What a baby.
Come on.
I think I only shot it on my GoPro.
Oh, this is the color run. Okay. Bro.
No warp stabilizer. Just look at this.
Just jitters?
Oh my gosh. Scroll through just to get to the fun part.
So what year was this? What year is this, you know?
See, there's my brother-in-law who actually worked for him. This was in Salt Lake City. This would have been like 2014, 2015.
He looks familiar, though.
He was there for a good year, and I think he was part of that.
Yeah. The Shine Tour was ours.
Jeez, I used to be so fun. The heck's happened to me?
You know what stinks though? Like
Hey, there's that unicorn.
they've completely gone downhill after COVID.
Oh, they went out of business.
They're gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a lot of insight into like that founder kind of unraveling relationship, like how it kind of ended, but
It's
cool.
unfortunate.
Well, that's cool. So you ended up working for them for quite a few years.
Yeah, for about a year and a half.
And then what else kind of came from, I guess you saw were you doing this full time or did you have other events?
Oh no.
Other things?
I was starting to reach out to like more concert like venues in Denver. So there was, I don't know if you know Mute Math. They opened for 21 Pilots. I think this was probably like 3 or 4 years ago. But before that, I got in with them when they were small. Like they weren't really super well known. And so they played out a lot of local spots in Denver. And so, like, again, I brought my friends. I reached out to the guys like, hey, pay us like $200.
Yeah.
Like, we'll come and shoot this whole thing. And so they said, yeah, let's do it. And so it just started building from there. And then pretty quickly, I got my first international experience. And I think at this point, I was a junior. And I did want to also mention a big part of my high school experience. I was in a public high school. But I think this is one of those reasons and one of those times to where I felt like I was in the right place at the right time because the way the high school set up was there's different academies that you could get into. So if you wanted to be in like leadership and communication, you'd go to LGC. If you wanted to be in like if you'd be like a mathematician, you go to like the STEM program.
Yeah.
There was a new academy that opened up called Mosaic. And Mosaic was when it opened up when I was about a sophomore. And I actually transferred into it about halfway through my sophomore year. And it wasn't a bell-to-bell schedule. It wasn't a traditional way of learning. It was a full day of you go and you learn about taxes for math. You learn how to work with nonprofits. There's like, like the collapsible walls to where there's like different rooms, but they could fold up the walls and put them to the side. So they took like 4 rooms and they broke down all the walls. So it was just this big room. And instead of desks, there was like tables with chairs around it.
Cool.
So instead of like just kind of listening to a lecture, it was very collaborative with other students. And so pretty quickly I learned to actually fall in love with education again.
Nice.
And that also gave me the space to pursue film. Because if I would have gone and tried this during like just like in the traditional sense of the way I was in high school, I hated learning traditionally.
Yeah.
And B, the teacher saw something in me and they're like, no, I think this kid actually has something. I think he could, like make something happen with film and video. And there was one teacher in particular who really saw that in me. His name was Mr. Schneider.
Yes. Shout out.
Dude, shout out to the boy. But at first I did not like him. At first I was scared of him actually.
Yeah.
And our relationship just did a 180 over time. And it was about junior, senior year. He's like, hey man, what are you going to do after high school? And I was like, I think I'm just going to try to do this full time out of high school and just see what happens. Give myself a year and just find out if I can do it or not. Yeah, with film. And he's like, good, you should. Don't go to college.
Yeah.
Like this was a high school teacher telling me to not go to college.
Yeah,
and
he knew.
He was one of the guys that was like telling everybody to go to college. But to me, he's like, no, you're not going to college.
Yeah.
And so to have someone especially a male figure like that, because I didn't really have that growing up, to have a strong male support system who saw that in me, man, it meant the world to me.
Yeah, it put you on a absolutely different trajectory.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. So, when I was a junior, there was one of those nonprofits that came in. They did work in Africa. And I've always wanted to travel internationally, but again, we had no money. It's like, how am I going to travel? But I was like, well, I got a camera, And so I listened to their lecture when they came into class. And at the time I was I'm actually a big time introvert. I hate talking to people. And so I got one of their pamphlets because I didn't want to talk to anyone in person. And I got their email and I reached out to them. At this point I had like a color run video. I had a few other things to kind of show them. Yeah. And basically gave them the whole spiel, what I usually do. And they reached back out and they said, hey, like, can you go in 2 months? Yeah. And I was like, well, I don't have a passport. I don't have a visa. I don't have any vaccinations. Like, I've never been outside of a few states in my life. And they're telling me, hey, we want you to come and shoot in Nairobi, Kenya,
Whoa. At 16, 17?
I think I was probably 17 at that time.
Gosh, dude.
And I was like, but again, dude, I was so excited. I was so pumped, right?
Of course.
And I emailed back and I said, well, can you give me a little bit more time to get what I need to get? And they said, of course. But they also told me, hey, can you actually come to our office and give a pitch to like the whole, like the board of directors? And I was like, sure, I can do that. And deep down, I was like, I don't want to do that. You know?
Yeah, the fact that you were brave enough to take that on at 17.
Gosh, dude. I don't think I had my driver's license at the time either.
Yeah.
And so like my mom drove me there, right? And I'm walking in like my khaki pants and a flannel shirt.
Yeah, just faking
with
it.
no notes. And I'm just like, I don't know what I'm doing here.
Yeah.
I walk in and it's just like a glass building with like the, you know, the long table, like straight out of a movie,
Yeah.
you know? And I just walk in, they're already like kicking off their meeting, and I sit right in the middle of this table, and next to me was Ralph, who is, now he's like in his 90s and he's still traveling. This dude is constantly going over there.
Wow.
And I sat next to him, and this would be the guy that I eventually go on this trip with.
Cool.
But yeah, no, they're like, hey, can you pitch what you want to do?
Yeah.
And so they gave me the floor, and they're like, yeah, can you actually also like stand up and like go to the front of the table? And like,
Yeah.
I'm like,
Dude, they were testing you.
I'm like, bro, yeah. So
That's so cool, because when you've got, being in a, I guess I don't want to call myself older or old because I'm still young, but in those positions, if you saw a young kid at 17 reaching out and like being ambitious like you were, I'm like, I want to see, let's test him. Let's throw him in the water and just see what he can do. And you were putting yourself in that position, which I think is really brave at that age.
Yeah.
Especially when you know that you're faking it, essentially. Like you've got a little bit of experience, but.
And you know what? I don't think that ever goes away. I think that's a common theme of creatives and filmmakers and people who are trying to pursue something. Is like, there's constantly going to be that imposter syndrome that we run into.
Always.
Like I feel it all the time.
Yeah.
I feel it right now.
Yeah.
In general. Yeah. Right. Like, and so it's either, okay, are we going to stall on that and actually like, I'm not going to do it? Or are we actually going to like lean in?
Yeah. And just see what happens.
And just see what happens, you know? And that's been kind of the theme of my life, is like, let me just lean into this and see what happens. And 9 times out of 10, I learn something from it every single time.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, you reached out to me and you leaned into it, and here you are, and we're going to create a relationship. I said to everyone that comes on, like, I don't know you, but by the end of this hour and a half, we're going to be homies, and we're going to like rooting for each other along the way, because I know you. And I think a lot of people that listen to these podcasts will do the same thing if they actually listen through. Like, you just get to know people on a different level in this format versus like educating about filmmaking. It's like you're kind of being vulnerable and like
absolutely
opening up to people. So you leaning into this is just a testament to what you've been doing your whole life, and who knows what can come from it. Truthfully.
I appreciate that, man. I've always appreciated vulnerability, because I had the lack thereof growing up. And so when I found out like you could have deeper conversations with people, and I started, you know, exploring that, I started realizing, man, there's so much more to life than just like our job and what we're doing. Like there's relationships to be had, and there's connections, and not only in filmmaking, but it's in life. It's with family, it's with friendships. Like, I talked to a friend the other day, this was like 2 days ago, and he kind of complimented me on like just my intentionality with relationships and friendships. And I said, I don't know what I would do if I didn't have good relationships. You know, it's needed. It's needed. So
that's the most important part of any aspect of life, and you kind of don't realize it till you're older, and then you're like, dang, I wish I would have nurtured those relationships a little better. And I think similar to you, I came up with a similar upbringing. Mom was the sole person, and then dad was not around. And so I think we're more in tune with that than having someone ruin relationships. And then you're like, I don't want to be like that. So naturally we swing that direction. I think a lot of people in our generation do. But making relationships the most important thing. And what's cool about this career in filmmaking is that you have way more of a opportunity to do that, because you have to be filming a lot of different things, a lot of different people. And that's my favorite part of the career. Just meeting the people.
New people on the way.
All aspects of life too, especially when you travel.
100%.
You start to realize how everyone is the same, no matter what culture you're in. Everyone wants love. Everyone's insecure.
100%.
Everyone has fears. And it's not until you like say hi to someone and start to break down those walls that you're like, dang, we are the same. Doesn't matter. where you come from.
It's 100% right. And those are the main things I got from international travel. You know, is you come back to the States and it's like I have so much to be grateful
Oh my gosh.
for. Are you kidding? Like the amount of opportunities that we have.
Yeah.
Like, let's be real, man. Like there's so many things around us that we complain about.
Yeah.
And
you get caught up in it.
I get caught up in it.
For sure.
And that's something I'm constantly reeling myself back in and being like, no, dude, like it's good. You're fine. Like you're actually super blessed. And you know,
one of the things that hit me, I'll let you get to your Africa trip right after this. I went to the Philippines for nomadic, and it was Siargao, super third world island.
Wow.
And I was in the process of building the house I'm in now, and I'm there.
Oh, during that time?
Yeah. And I'm just like, what am I doing? I don't need that. And it's like a reality check. And I'm watching like, mom's just sweeping dirt floors. Like they're just sweeping leaves out of their essentially kind of like huts. And I'm just sitting there going, why the crap am I building this? I don't need it. You just don't need much in life. And then you come back, and within 1 week, you're back to the grind and the hustle culture. And it's like, well, I need more.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I think about it all the time. Like, man, I'm probably just going to move to, you know,
and just live a simple life.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, go ahead and tell us about this next step in your journey, which is the Africa trip.
Yeah. So that was my first international experience. And we were there for about 2.5 weeks. I think the ones I shared, dude, that's great, man. You're finding everything, bro. Yeah. This was the first video I made, and like,
look at that backwards hat.
Yeah, dude. That was
That's
my boy, right? Calvin, right there. Yeah, I got everyone on that train, man. But yeah, it was just like all these different experiences that I got to feel in a short period of time. Like 2.5 weeks goes by pretty quick. And so we did like safaris. That's Mount Kenya. We got to hike that. We got to do all sorts of different things. And, you know, I reflect on this experience now, and again, you don't know where all these things are going to lead. And I wanted to lean into those things. So this trip for me was world shattering, in the best way.
Of course.
Like I think that like this shot right here was like, that was the highlight.
Yeah.
You know, cause I'm like with all these kids, and the kids like that was the highlight for me, just seeing how happy they were. And they didn't have anything.
Yep.
There was all these kids who had, like, there was one time to where they had this ball that was made from newspaper, feathers, and yarn. And they just bundled it all together, and they're playing soccer with it, you know? And they were just like, as soon as we got out, you know, of the car, like some of these kids have never seen like a white person before, you know? And so they're trying to like rub your skin to see if the white's going to come off, you know? And so they're super fascinated by us being there, and they just love you, you know? And so getting back from this trip, I was just in awe, because I realized that there's much more to life than just the material possessions that we have.
For sure.
This trip's like just symbolized all those thoughts that I thought I had, and it just came to fruition when I got there, when I came back. So that was the main thing I took away, was like, we have so much to be grateful for.
Yep.
And B, in terms of film, that was so much fun to create that promotional video for, it was called Technology Partnership, the nonprofit at the time, and I don't even know if they're still around. But they provided technology for primary school kids. And so I went there to create like a promotional video for them and their website and their social, and yeah, and I just loved it. Got back from that trip, and I was like, man, so there's the color run, there's international trips,
and
like,
you're not even out of high school.
Yeah, it's like what more is there to take?
Yeah.
You know? So yeah, it just, for me, I started to understand that there's more to my capacity than I even give myself credit for.
Yeah.
And I tell people that all the time. I'm like, there's so many people that are walking around today who have so much capacity within them that they haven't even tapped into yet. And once we understand that, then we can actually start to step by step walk into those things. Just kind of push further. and not in like a sense to grind it out or anything, but in a sense to fulfill our purpose and our mission about what we're put here
for sure.
You know?
Yeah. So, one of my favorite sayings from that, exactly what you're saying, is David Goggins was like, most people get to 40% and they think it's 100. He's like, they don't realize they still have 60% left before they're maxed out.
Have you ever like run a marathon or anything?
I've never run a marathon. I've run a 5K. Not really. I do not run for fun.
I feel that.
I like the weight room and walking on a treadmill.
I get it. I get it. Yeah.
Do you run?
I've done like 8 marathons.
Okay, so you get that 40.
Yeah, 100%.
You're like, oh,
but I hated running.
Yeah.
I hated running because I do the same. I do weightlifting, just traditionally weightlifting, and then also running. And so like having that mix is super hard to maintain.
I have a great runner's body if I wasn't putting weight on. Yeah. So I'm a naturally super skinny dude and tall, long legs, but I love weightlifting, so I've put on a lot of weight, and now when I run it hurts. It's like I gotta lose some weight. Yeah,
I feel that. Yeah, like your endurance goes quick if you don't keep it up.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's not like lifting weights, I mean, I don't know, it's harder to get to build muscle over time than it is to build endurance.
For sure.
But yeah, same thing with life. Same thing.
100%. You know? And so when you got back from this trip, tell me more about what was going on with your life, because it's interesting that was all happening in high school.
Yeah.
And you weren't making money, or you were making like $200 for something like that. Like it was more, you were more interested in the experience.
Yeah.
And the growth that came with it 100%. Versus money, which is a smart place to start.
100%. Yeah. I was more interested in gaining the knowledge of what could happen than getting a check, and I didn't have that mindset at the time. I was just like, I was like pure in the sense of like, I just want to shoot stuff,
just hustle
and just see what happens, So throughout high school, that was kind of my mindset. And I was always kind of like that guy who just continued to build those opportunities. And then out of high school, we graduated and I reconnected. So like, on graduation day, I reconnected with that teacher I was telling you about. And he just didn't say much to me. He was just like, gave me a look. And he's like, he gave me a nod. Yeah. That's really all he gave me.
Let's go.
It was like you got this.
Yeah.
Like, you got this. It's time, And I was like, all right, let's do it. I gave him a hug, got my diploma, and moved out 2 days later. And at the time I had like it's like a Miata. It was a BMW Z3.
Yeah.
A little, I bought it for like $2,000.
Nice.
That thing, stick shift. And I moved out and moved actually to Arizona. And
from where?
From Colorado.
Oh God.
Yeah.
That's right.
And didn't have much of a plan. And I was like, I'm just going to see what happens. And so I started applying to, marketing agencies and production companies. And luckily there's some people that gave me a shot at a production company. Worked there for a time, and then that whole team actually transitioned to another place, and so I just kind of followed them.
Cool.
And that whole time I got to learn how to work on a team, and I'm 18, and how do you work on a team? I've never worked on a team before.
Yeah.
I don't know how revisions work and all that stuff. So, those first few years were really the very basics and the fundamentals of how to work in a more collaborative space. Was honed pretty quickly, because the guy that I reported to, he was a pretty big stickler about the standard. Like, set the standard, hold the standard. Like, if the standard slips at all, we're doing something wrong. Like, we got to maintain the standard. And so I loved that mindset, and that definitely stuck with me over time. And those were kind of the early days, just trying to figure it out and all that fun stuff.
Nice.
So,
so you started working for other people during this time, as far as like education goes, growth. What were you, I guess, doing were you doing things outside of these jobs? It sounds like you just went to Arizona just on a whim.
Yeah.
What was helping your progression as a filmmaker?
Yeah. So, I mean, it was the mix between working at these places, getting that kind of experience of, how to do things the right way in a technical sense. and then also the mix of doing the passion projects, you know. So then I started getting more into, again, like the documentary filmmaking. And so within those, I would say the span of like those 4 or 5 years, I really started to look into people like Mark Bone. He has the art of documentary. I took that course and loved it. I was like, this is amazing. And so I just applied what he was doing to some of the films I made. So
you were shooting documentaries. What made you like that style?
I love the raw format of it, and the idea of following someone's journey as it's unfolding. Yeah. Or if it's for like a nonprofit, like I went back to South Africa and I shot, we flew into Johannesburg, and then we also went to Cape Town. And I got to film for a nonprofit that, again, did a lot of work in their community. And so not only did I kind of get to like shoot the journey of someone's like as they're progressing, like in the moment, but I also got to tell the story of what this nonprofit was doing. So it's kind of a mix of both, which I really love. Cool. Because you're able to give a client a full documentary film, but then you could also cut it down into social clips and things like that if you need to. So they kind of get both. They get the real authentic piece of content, and then they're able to use it for whatever they want to use it for. And you know, if you're more business minded and marketing minded, you could help them like with the strategy of what that looks like. But I just fell in love with the authentic, more raw nature of documentary storytelling. You know.
So with this, were you starting to lean, knowing where you started wanting to kind of be like Devin, in similar to me, it was just like, I didn't know what directing, DPing, producing was. It was just, I want a camera, I want to go places, and I want to create videos and pictures. That's like all I knew. At this point, it sounds probably pretty similar. Did you start to think about the direction you were heading in? Like, I remember at that similar stage, it was like, I had a choice to go down the traditional route or go to this kind of corporate social media route. Did you have any kind of like decision in that, or were you just constantly pushing towards this social media corporate route where you're kind of helping businesses and
I think for a while it was the business side of it, like helping our businesses, whether it be that corporate side or more of the social media stuff, because, you know, granted it is 2025, soon to be 2026, like people want vertical content, which I'm a film boy, you know, so I like a good, you know, anamorphic shot. But the reality is, you know, we have to deliver for clients and what they're wanting. And so I think there's room for both. I think it's not this like or that, it's this and that, you know? And so for me, I struggled with that for a long time. And I think as a creative, I felt like for example, I had this friend who went to Hollywood. He went to LA, and he just wanted to be a traditional DP. And I love being a DP. Like, I've done commercials and things like that. And I find that very fulfilling. Obviously, I think that's more fulfilling in my mind than making like a social media like
for
video.
Sure.
But I also struggled with this idea of early on as I got started, I'm like, oh, do I need to just pick one thing? You know, do I need to just be a DP or a cinematographer? Can I be an editor as well? Because I love everything. I love both, man. That's like, cool. I actually I'm pretty much got started with editing. Like that was my whole thing. Like I kind of shot, like kind of terrible at shooting, but like editing, I loved it. Like when I was, so my aunt said, this is kind of like spinning it back, but I'll kind of circle it back. But, in 2013, my aunt, she's a set decorator. She's been a freelancer for a long time, but she's worked on Yellowstone. She's worked on, she just got out of Landman, I believe, with Billy Bob Thornton.
Oh yeah.
And so
Taylor Sheridan all day.
Yeah. And so she would call me up and say, hey, like, can you come to set and just like, you know, bop around and help out? And I'm like, sure. Yeah, of course. Right. And so in 2013, there was a film called The Last Stand that came out. It was like an action film with Arnold Schwarzenegger and Johnny Knoxville. And she's like, hey, like, I want you to shadow the editors for like a week.
Cool.
I was like, what?
How do you get that?
I was like 7th grader, dude. I was like, what? And so that was the first time I got to see the editing side of things. I was like, oh, this is incredible. You know? And so for myself, like, I love editing, I love shooting, and I'm also business minded. And so it's like, how do you pick, you know? And I felt like for a long time, there was this pressure to just do one thing, you know? And I like to do one thing really well, but for myself and my own personality, I'm like, I can't just stick to doing one thing. Like, I'm fascinated by all sorts of things, like as a creative. So, that was, I don't know, that was what I got to, is it's okay to do various things. It's okay to have your own business. It's okay to edit. It's okay to, you know, just direct or just DP, you know, invite, you know, and like
for sure,
mix it up.
Totally.
So
in the last episode we had Dane in he has a company called Wedge something, Wedge Golf, Wedge Media.
Wedge Golf.
He niches in golf videos and just does that, where I was over here similar to you. I'm like, I'm not niched in anything, man. I'm like, I can do every single step of the process, and I'm pretty good at every single step of the process. And it's a little bit of a crutch, not a crutch. It's a detriment to like what I could do, because it's like, I'm not focused on one thing, but there is a world for both, and there's successes that can come from both for sure. And so that's kind of where that question came from, was like, were you starting to lean into one thing, and it sounds like you're just like, I just want to keep doing all the things. And how did that go as you started to get into these corporate jobs? Were you still just doing all the things?
It went well. I mean, the past 2.5 years, I found myself doing that destination job, which that was always something on my bucket list I wanted to do at some point, which was do more travel, because before that it was like a 3-year gap of just like not really traveling too much. And so I kind of got that bug again to do more travel. And so this opportunity came up with, they're called Awestruck Agency. And everyone works remotely. Everyone's all over the country, and it's super flexible. It's super nice. Like the benefits outweigh even the salary, in my opinion. And so, you know, for the last 2.5 years, they would send me on travel to, again, shoot for hotels all over the country. A lot of the times it'd be on the East Coast though. So it's like 3-hour time difference, you know, like you're barely sleeping. It's a long day.
That's so fun though.
What's that?
That's so fun though, getting to go to these different places.
It was for a time.
Yes.
For a time.
I hear you 100%.
Yeah. And so that was great for about a year. And then, you know, I was promoted. And so it became more of a leadership role. And so there's 2 other filmmakers that would report to me. So I had to manage them plus do the travel. And so I had kind of 2 jobs in one, which I actually loved. Because I love both. I love being a leader to people, and I love managing. But at the same time, there's that give and take of, you can't do 100% of both in one role, you know? And so I think just with the constant travel alone, I got to the point to where I started burning. And this was recent. This is like 4 months ago. This started happening. And the cool thing about this podcast is, like, you guys started releasing the episodes, and this was like when I started to get that hint of like, dude, I'm getting burnt. Like I need to do something. So when you started talking to Carter, and you started talking to Parker and Devin and all those guys, like I listened to all of them, and it was like the perfect timing for me, because I would listen to these and I'm like, oh, dude, like they get it. You know,
we think like we do.
They relate, you know? And so I just,
when you say that, are you talking about hitting a ceiling? Kind of felt like you need to do more.
Exactly. Like
that was a theme for sure with myself and Parker. Both related to that. I think it's been a theme for everyone. It's like every journey is going to get to a point where it's like it's very rare that you want to just do the same thing for super long. Like Devin's one of those people that just wants to continue to do that thing for so long.
Dude,
and I respect him for it. There's other personalities that continually need something new. And so you're feeling that, and I'm sure you were hearing it too as we were talking about it.
It's because there's the 2 sides of the same coin. There was the burnout factor of it, and then there was that ceiling that you talk about. And I think for myself, again, like running my own business, there's no limit to that ceiling. Like I could grow or not grow however much I want. And with being at this company, there was that ceiling that I've already hit, and there was no guarantee of any sort of growth. Like I talked to my manager, and they told me straight up, they're like, yeah, this is just a high burnout role, and that's what it is.
They expect
it's not going to change. And so I kind of got my answer pretty quickly of, okay, I need to make a change. And so Yeah. And so it's just been like the timing of everything's been like just nuts.
That's interesting. That's so cool to hear that like this podcast kind of influenced that. Kind of, even though you could probably go find that somewhere else, but
yeah,
it's kind of been this like, if you were following the Supertramp days, Bubba, which is Johnny Quintana, he said it best. He's like, this is kind of a time capsule for all the people that worked in that world, and all these we're telling very similar stories in different ways from our own experiences, and it all kind of
it's so
pieced together. Man. And we've pretty much talked to everybody now, and so I'm sure that as you were doing the same thing, you're starting to piece together these different stories into one big thing. And
because again, like I followed Team Supertramp super closely growing up, and again, I wouldn't even have gotten started in a sense if it wasn't for all of you guys.
That's cool.
You know, and so when I followed you guys closely like that, it was big for me. But then when you started posting like the different episodes, I got to again hear the different perspectives, and I'm just sitting there laughing, bro. Like I'm alone in my apartment, and I'm just sitting here, I'm just laughing, because I'm just having a good time with like the stories, man.
It's
I'm
probably
just like,
crazy to hear those perspectives on different. Like if you saw a BTS or something, and then we're telling a story about it. And it's not as glamorous as we may have made it look, or as fun, and there's all these drama and issues going on that you have no idea about.
For sure. Yeah, I mean, it's the same thing with that destination job.
Yeah,
a lot of people look at what I'm doing like, dude, this dude's in different places every other week. Like, you know, he's living the high life. He's you know, in all these luxury places, and I'm over there. Like this was probably 2.5 months ago. I was in West Virginia. Beautiful resort. And I was exhausted. I got there and it was a 2.5 day shoot. We had talent and everything, and it's a small shoot. So there's me and a producer, and that's it. Like, and so they're constantly coming up to me for like wardrobe. Hey, does this look good? And so I'm just getting flustered. I'm like,
and you have a camera?
I have a camera.
You're shooting.
And I'm shooting.
Directing.
Oh, dude, doing everything.
Yep, that's fun.
And I got to the point to where I started feeling like it was definitely exhaustion, but it felt like there was something deeper that was going on, like health wise, you know, like I was like, I feel like I'm about to pass out or have a panic attack, you know? And I got to the end of that trip and I'm like, dude, something's got to change. Something's got to change. So, and sure enough, I had a conversation with my manager yesterday, and she was like, she understood. She's like, I get it. She said, I went on a trip like 2 weeks ago for 2 days. I was stressing. So I don't get how you guys do it for like every other week. I'm like, I don't know. Some people are built for it though, like Devin, right?
Loves it.
Dude, he is, talk about passion. Like that's always been his thing, you know, just a pure creative. And,
dude. And I, similar to you, I'll never forget when I started to feel, it was kind of progressive, and everyone kind of saw I had one foot out and was always doing other things. And I didn't quite know what that was until now. I'm like, it's because I was itching for more. I was itching for ownership. And I was in Belgium, and it is funny because you say that. It's like I had the same experience where every week I'm seeing family members, where are you going next? I'm like, I got this and this, and they're like, that's so cool. And I'm like, is it though? And I had a wife and kid. My kid was like 1 or 2 at that point, and I'm just starting to realize those dad feels, and being away from them was tough. And so anyway, I was in Belgium, and we were supposed to shoot, and I just remember like not wanting to leave my hotel. And there was times where I sent Brandon, who is our BTS guy, I was like, dude, I want to see what you can do. Take the camera out and you'll film
the main shooter on this trip.
And he did a good job, but I just didn't want, I just was like, I'm over it. And anyway, that was part of it. It's like, people could look at that as a bad thing, like you're burning yourself out, but at the same time it's just something speaking to you. It's like it's time to make a change and move on. So basically you were feeling that, and it's a good thing because it's pushing you into fulfillment, progression. If you're not listening to that, you're just going to continue burning, just shutting down and probably not listening. You got to listen to it
100%.
So you did. It's just funny how fresh that is, and you're literally a day out of it. I bring that
up now because like it's crazy how fresh it is and the timing of everything. I mean, just being here talking to you, and like I got off that phone call yesterday, I felt so light. I felt so much peace. I was like, I could actually step fully into the next season of my life and not be scared of it, you know, and not ask for permission. And I felt like I kind of had to walk on eggshells for a while. And I'm someone who you know, I want to finish things out strong. Even if I feel burnt out, like I want to, again, hold the standard. Like I've always been that way.
Yeah.
And so when I'm at a place, I want to make sure I told her, I'm like, I want to leave this place better than I found it.
Yeah.
And I would say I did. And, that's always been my big thing. Like I never want to get to a point. I told her, I'm like, I don't want to get to a point where I'm operating from bitterness, from just straight resent, you know, just, that's a place where you're just lacking that peace, you know? So I got off that phone call, dude, and I'm just like, oh, I felt like I could like take a breath, you know? And
I'm curious about your mindset right now, currently with that next phase.
Yeah.
I think, and I'm just trying to, it's so relatable to me. So I'm going to continue to relate it to when I took that step.
Yeah.
And, I had a vision. Actually, I'm not going to tell you this. I want to hear what you have to say. Your mindset at this moment of like what Cream Media is going to be. And this kind of brings us into the next phase, which is like where you're headed. Mm-hmm. But before that, you're thinking about doing this business, right?
Yeah.
I'd say 95% of everyone that does this. Have you read Rich Dad Poor Dad?
I have.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know the quadrant.
Yeah.
Employee, self-employed, business owner, investor. Every 90, if not 99% of people that do what you're doing at this moment, they're stepping into being self-employed. And you're going to be pushing yourself into doing everything, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to kind of tell you, do you have the mindset of like, I'm building this thing to be a business, or are you stepping into this thing? And there's no wrong answer, because I think everyone can do things the way they feel the best.
Of course.
Right now, it sounds like you're stepping into being self-employed, but do you have that long-term vision of being a business owner? Because I remember when I started mine, it was like, hey, I got to do this, but there's never a goal of like, I'm going to be a plumber for the rest of my life, and I'm just going to do all the work always and be the guy that does the work.
For sure.
I always had this plan of not doing all the work and having a team and building a business.
Yeah, of course.
So curious where your mindset is.
I would say more the business route. I don't want to grow it super massive.
Okay.
But I do want to have some employees to where I could take that weight off myself, because I know you get bogged down quick with editing, and especially editing for sure. And also shooting, like it just takes so much time. And so initially, obviously, it's going to be a lot of work to do it kind of on my own. And eventually I want to get to the point to where I kind of take those risks and, you know, hire on a few employees. But I don't have it's not like I want to be like, I'm going to have 100 employees and do all that. Like, as long as I have this business that is for the most part sustainable, and I know there's no perfect answer, I want to give myself the space. The main thing for myself is giving myself the capacity, again, kind of like what we talked about, to operate at the level I know I can operate at. I just feel so bogged down all the time, you know? But I think there's always going to be seasons, even, and, you know, I would love to hear from you on this, like with business, like, you know, being a business owner and going through the ups and the downs and the roller coaster of, hey, this looks like a good month, and then this next month it looks terrible, you know? So I'm curious from you about what that looks like. But I'm trying to think more optimistically, because I tend to think more pessimistically, you know? And more of like a realist. And so I am trying to give myself more permission to say, it's going to be great. Like, you're going to do great, because either way you're going to learn. Like, even if you fail, which in my mind, that's not an option, but let's say that happens, like I'm going to learn from that. I'm going to learn regardless.
Totally.
And the guarantee is if I don't do it, I don't learn, you know? And so that's
where it will become a regret.
I know that, like, that regret is just gonna like eat away at me, and same kind of feeling.
You'll never know, right? And that's the thing too, is you could get into this, and I know a lot of people that do. They go and they're like, I don't like this.
This sucks.
I actually don't want to do this. I'll continue to do side hustles, but I like the 9-to-5 structure. Dustin Armstrong was in here, and he had an option to work here or at Crumble. He went for Crumble, and it was like, I just want consistency.
Good for him.
I want to go do that thing. And he's like, that's where I'm at currently in my journey.
And there's no right answer.
So if you feel the itch, go scratch it. And you don't know, you'll never know if you hate it or love it or have an awesome trajectory unless you just do it. And then you can always try something different. But
100%.
that's so much a part about being a filmmaker. And it's even like what we were saying at the beginning, when you're like, I want to go into the movies, and you go down that road and you're like, this isn't where I want to go. Or you're like, I want to be a DP. Actually, I want to be a director, but I don't know that unless I try to be a DP. So it's just life, dude.
Have you seen the Curious Case of Benjamin Button, the movie?
I never watched that. No, that's with Brad Pitt, right?
I rewatched it the other day, and there's a scene to where, because he gets younger as he ages, right? And there's a scene to where he gets to the point where he's in his like 30s and 20s and whatnot, and he's just like exploring around India, and there's all these montages, and there's a monologue, and there's a voiceover from him, and he basically says there's no rules to this thing that we call life. Yeah. And if we mess up in our eyes, do we have the courage to start all over again? Yeah. And so I take away from that with my own journey and my own season of, I can step into this thing. Is it the right thing? For now it is. Yeah. For now it feels good. Yeah. For now I feel at peace. And I'm confident and clear on it right now. And if I get in a year into it, 5 years into it, and I hate it, I could always do something else. Yeah. I think a lot of people don't give themselves enough permission to pursue the things that's on their heart,
For sure. I think that's great. Yeah. And to go to your question about kind of my advice into this next step you're going is I'm kind of opposite. I actually am extremely optimistic, and I'm actually experiencing that at this moment, where my wife's more of a realist and
that's a good balance though. Yeah,
it is a good balance. My daughter is dealing with some things, and I'm like, I don't think about it a lot. I'm like, everything's gonna be okay. I don't stress, and I'm encouraging her that everything's fine, where she's like, worst case scenario, scared, and it's like this balance. But I'm actually realizing this now, how much of an optimist I am, and I think I've taken that into my business. And I explained this on one of my podcasts with Johnny, is like, I've always had this abundance mindset. Like, you're focusing on abundance, you're focusing on the progress, the right place, that I'm going to go there. Yeah. Where the opposite of that is, you're in debt, you're focusing on the debt, you're going to continue to be in debt.
Absolutely.
But instead focus on abundance, making money, doing the things that will help you get to the opposite of what you're focusing on. Then you will naturally head in that direction. Yeah. And it all comes down to just focusing on what you want and not focusing on the negative or the bad. And so I would take that mindset into this. Even though you're naturally a realist, still focus on the positive and the right places, and getting to that next level, and not focusing too much on the bad side. But at the same time, I take this optimistic view into my business. You're going to still you're going to hit those realistic things, and just be like, this isn't the right decision, and being able to flex, navigate, change, adapt. Because what's going to happen is you think you're heading in a direction, and I think it's smart to think a little bit ahead, not 10 years if you don't want to, but I've always had that like way far forward thinking. But when you get into it, it's going to be way different than you expected in 5 years. And that's just natural, because you're going to learn about what works. You're going to find niches, you're going to find ways to go about things, and being able to adjust on the fly and making those quick, good or hard decisions is like the most crucial thing to entrepreneurship. Because I think why a lot of businesses go out of business is they aren't willing to change directions or try something new. And I'm only 5 years into it, and they say like 90% of startups fail after 5 years. And bro, I can understand why that 4-year mark is a failure waiting to happen. And if you don't adjust, or you don't change, or you don't get down in the trenches, it will happen. And then there's the 10-year, and then only 1% of those succeed. So it's like 6 to 10 is going to be interesting.
Have you had that thought of like, man, I should just leave, I should just end this?
Always.
Really?
But I go back to what you're always saying, is this is what I love to do, and there's no option. But you have those mindsets that's like, it would be so much easier to just, here's the thought. it'd be so much easier to do something that you like, go work for someone else, right? Have a 9-to-5 that's secure. But the opposite of that is it's not as secure as when you develop a skill, or you develop, let's just call it a skill that's, you're offering a solution to people's problems in any capacity, and you get good enough at it, and you build some credibility and a reputation behind it. That's way more secure than ever working a job and having someone else paying you, because meaning like you're relying on their business to succeed,
right,
for you to survive. And the first time I was told that was, I was at Nomadic, and I was trying to make this decision of, do I go full-time business, or do I stay in this business, or this thing? And I just was like, I feel like it's so much more secure, because I know that check's gonna come every 2 weeks.
Of course.
Or if I'm on a business, I don't know what's coming next month.
Right.
And that's scary. That's insecure. And he goes, it was a mentor of mine. He's like, let me tell you something. He's like, let me flip that. So exactly what I just told you. This is actually more secure, because you could go out and hustle and make that money. Go make some connections. Go make some calls. Go do what you did with the color run. Like, reach out to companies and just say, I'll do it a little cheaper, or I'll do it. Just making connections along the way. That's way more valuable than having a job that could go out of business at any moment, could fire you just like that, and they don't care. That's way less secure. So it's I think.
And I saw it too. I saw that. It's like, dang, dude, these people are ruthless.
I've seen it. I've experienced it. But I've always been building a skill. And I think if anyone can take anything away from what we're talking about, is even if you have a job, which I think is important, you have to have those things. I think it's important to even start with jobs, because you'll learn so much internally, especially in your 20s as you're building.
I learned so much.
I didn't even know what the heck, I didn't even know the business structure from like CEO to VPs. Like, I didn't even know what that was until I started working at Nomadic. And then that was a 20 employee company. And then working at Lumio was like 1,000+ employees. And it's like, there's employees in this business I don't even know. That's crazy to me. But that's part of the learning process, and you start to understand. But at the same time, you should always be sharpening that axe that's like on the side. It could be anything: building a product, getting a skill, developing something, just doing that. And then when the time comes, which is where you're at, to make that leap, it's not as scary, because you know, you have the confidence in knowing that you're going to be able to survive, even if it's a little bit scrappy and hard. You're going to survive. And then the last point is that now, at this point in 5 years into my business, I was just talking to Willem, who's part owner in Mystery Box, and they're huge. They're 15 years into this. And he said, he's like, now you get to a point in business, because it continues to happen over and over. And if you're doing the right things, you're taking care of your clients, you're taking care of your employees, you're taking care of people that you're involved with, the work will just come. And the work just shows up. It's pretty wild. Like, we've been pretty consistent every month with what we make, but we have different clients constantly, and it's always like the same. And I'll get to the end of the month, I'm like, of course it was the same again. I'm trying to break past that, because it can be pretty annoying. It's really hard to get past a certain point, but it's always fascinating to me when it becomes the same income every month. And then on top of that, when you need employees, you need help, people start to show up, and you build that confidence, knowing it's going to happen. So dude, that's a long-winded piece of where I am at.
I'm curious for you too, like where you see your business growing in the next 4 or 5 years.
So it's going back to the quadrant. I've always wanted to progress. I think it's a natural progression. And that's why I'm so set on like people having jobs. Like, go be an employee, go learn on someone else's dime. And then become a self-employed person. You could easily go straight to business by buying a business, but then you have quickly realized, unless there's an infrastructure or employees, you are back to self-employed. A lot of people run their business like they think it's a business, and they're actually self-employed, meaning the business doesn't run unless you're working. I've had moments of being a business owner where I am sitting back and this thing's cranking and I'm not doing anything, but there's seasons. And right now with turnover, people moving on, having to retrain employees, you have to jump back into this self-employed moment, but there's always the goal of getting back to the business quadrant.
Right.
And so, in this process though, I'm looking towards the investor, which is really the next step for me. And what that means is I'm taking the money that I'm creating, whether it's self-employed or business owner, and I'm investing it in other businesses. And my goal is, and I'm also investing in so many other things, but always doing that to a point that my goal is to become that, where I'm now investing in other businesses, I'm investing in other people. Dude, I think it'd be so cool to get to a point where Tyson Media is doing its thing. I don't think I'd ever really want to sell it because I really love it. And I'll always I always want to build people up through my business. But getting to a point where I don't have to do it and I'm investing and I'm actually got enough cash and capital to keep running it, but it's just investing in people. And then like I'm invested in Bullfit, which is one of our clients. And getting to a point where that gets acquired. And then you have enough cash. I'm now going to my buddy Zane and I'm going, bro, I want to invest in a movie, or I want to invest in a TV show that you write, and I'll be the executive producer of it. That's my goal. So whether Tyson Media stays the same and it just stays this small, I can continue running it because I have a nice chunk of change that's safe. Because I've been to where this company had like no money and it was like, crap.
What am I doing?
I could see why I could go out of business. But that was never an option. I knew it could never go out of business. It really couldn't unless I like died, because I'm going to hustle. I'm going to, the hard truth is clean slate, build it again. But it would never, unless I quit. So anyway.
It's like if I guess if someone put a gun to your head and said, hey, you got to raise 20 grand.
Well, and that's what happens is you get to that point, and it's pretty amazing when you get to that point, what your instincts kick in and your fight or flight happens. And especially when you have a family to provide for, you're like, it doesn't matter. You're going to go do it. And you can't really do that with a job. If you have a job, you're like,
100%.
This is what I make. And if I'm in a tough spot, how do I make more? You can't.
And there's also excitement to that too. You know, it feels like when you're in a job, it sometimes feels very mundane in a sense. And despite the excitement of my last job, I was like, it feels like we're doing the same thing. Like you go to different places and you start to realize whatever place you're in, everyone starts to look the same.
It's the same.
The creative starts to look the same.
It's crazy.
I'm just like pumping out these edits and I'm like there's no like creative flow to any of this.
You become pretty jaded too, and you start to, like you said, everything's the same. You'd go to Europe and I'm like, cool, it's another stone building.
Right.
You go to the East Coast, it's like, cool, there's more tall buildings, you know. But it's the same. Like people are the same, cultures are different, food's great. That's always a fun part. But totally.
And especially for people who don't do it often, who don't travel often. And you see it through. It is cool seeing it through their eyes, like their excitement, and it's like,
I remember that. I remember when that happened.
Exactly. Exactly. So that's what I've been feeling. And so again, when I listened to those episodes, I just fully related. I'm like, dude, that's hilarious. Cause it's so when I was in high school, I reached out to Devin, I emailed him and he emailed me back. And I basically was like, I think I was, again, a senior still getting through school. And I was like, hey dude, I want to work for you. You know? And he's like, yeah, just let me know. Like he's super, you know, he's super chill. He's like, yeah, just let me know. Like, you know, just so you know, I get thousands of these emails all the time, you know? So I graduated high school, I reached back out and got nothing, you know? And I'm glad I never got anything back. Because I'm convinced that regardless if I would have worked there or wherever, my journey would have looked the same. Because I think the reason why we connect so well as creatives is there's a lot of similarities in our day-to-day and what we do. There's a lot of things that we wrestle with, we struggle with, that if you're not a filmmaker or creative, you're not really going to get the nuance of what we're talking about. So that's the cool part about this journey is like, you know, we're just talking today and we're already connecting on all these different things because we could understand the nuance of it.
Yeah.
You know, so I think that's really, really cool to think about.
Yeah.
You know, and I thought about that the other day, especially coming here, just being like, I'm like, I wanted to meet these guys when I was in high school.
Yeah.
But here we are.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that I'm meeting you guys in this season of my life than high school. You know? So
it's a cool season for you, dude, and it's exciting, and I'm stoked for you. Like everyone, I'm going to be rooting for you because I think that knowing now that this is your first day,
yeah, dude,
I'm going to wish you well, man. I think it's going to be fun and to see what you end up doing with it.
Yeah.
So kind of touched on what the next 5 to 10 years looks like. I'd like to go we kind of talk, well, I kind of related it to what I'm doing, but where do you see yourself in the next 5 to 10 years?
Well, I don't tend to think 10 years down the road.
Yeah.
I think from my life so far, a lot has changed in just 2 years, you know? So I tend to think in like 1 to 2 year, chunks.
Yeah.
And so for me, I could find myself, again, being a realist, trying to think so far ahead to where I'm not present.
Yeah.
And so for myself, I really want to think for, okay, like what does the next year or 2 years look like? And that's just growing, again, the client base and the revenue source of Curry Media.
Yeah.
And then going from there, and then hopefully hiring employees or contractors or whatever that looks like, you know, because even for that commercial shoot, obviously I had to hire, you know, people.
And you've managed people at other businesses, which is a good skill.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's been a huge blessing just being able to look back on my journey so far and just understand that there's different things at the time. I'm like, why am I here? Like, this makes no sense. But now I look back and I'm like, oh, dude, I'm so glad I was there. So glad I learned all those different things. And so, yeah, for me, the next 1 to 2 years, it's just that whole side of it and getting back into kind of that pocket of my passion, you know, because I feel like I fell off for a while. I feel like, again, I got jaded and I started to question like whether I wanted to keep doing this. Honestly, I was like, I don't know whether or not I want to be a filmmaker anymore because this kind of sucks.
Yeah.
And so, again, thinking more optimistically for myself, I understand that thinking back to my high school career and up to now, like there's always been that thread, that similar thread of I've always been the guy to make things happen and I've always been the guy to go out and just do things, you know? And so I said, well, why can't I just do that now? You know?
It's easy to start to feel like you're subconsciously starting to fall into that like safe mentality.
Yeah.
And then like you said, I need to start going back to that high school like mindset.
Yeah, like that edge, right?
Almost like that ignorant stage of life where you don't have any fears, you have nothing to lose. It's like, I'm just gonna go do this.
For example, like if I would have come here today and would have been like, dude, I've got all the answers, bro. Like I know everything. Like, dude, I'm so stoked to be here right now. And the fact that we're having this conversation, like I'm honored to just like be a part of this. And I don't take again, going back to being present, like the most important moment for me is right now.
Yeah.
Like this is all that matters to me right now. Right. And I don't take it for granted. And I feel like over the last 2 years, I found myself slipping into these trips. Dude, it would be February, March. I would already have these trips up until like December. Yeah. And so I'm thinking of like around these trips of like my own timeline. And yeah, it got to the point where I just started thinking ahead too much and I wasn't present at all with relationships with people. And so again, when I got that call the other day from my friend and he was like, hey, you're very intentional with relationships. That meant a lot to me because I try my best to be, because I could easily find myself not doing that. Yeah. You know, I could easily find myself falling off and forgetting the most important part about life in general. So my big goal is whatever I do, whether it's with Curry Media or anything else, like I want to make sure I'm operating at that capacity that I want to operate at. And I continue to serve others and pour into those relationships while I'm here. Cause that's like, we're not going to take all this when we're gone, you know? And for you, you have a family, you know, and I'm sure for you, it's the same thing. Yeah. You know, it's like, dude, at the end of the day, nothing else matters besides family, right? Sure. And that's it.
Yeah.
You know, so.
Family and relationships. And every time you hear someone on their deathbed that has the opportunity to tell about what they would change, they're always like, I wish I would have focused more on my family, or wish I would have been there for the relationships in my life a little bit more, and not been so focused on my career. It just seems like that's always the theme. Yeah. And I relate it back to my dad, and I'm sure you can relate. It's like he burned all these bridges, all these relationships, even his kids and his wife. And it's like, I don't ever want to do that. So I think you're spot on with what matters the most. Yeah. And doing that along your path as you get into your career, you're only going to succeed if you're taking care of the relationships along the way. Like the fact that was a huge piece of my journey was never to burn a bridge. And I really tried hard with it. And every step of the way, if there was an opportunity for that, like, cause I could have taken that route, I didn't. And the fortunate thing is like now I'm in this position where I'm bringing a lot of these people from my past back, and we're chatting, and it's like we're catching up, and none of the bridges were burned, and they're all just like, everyone's going through tough things, and we all are people and we can relate, but for sure, just don't ever burn a bridge in it, because you never know who you end up working with later. No doubt. And who will come around at a time that maybe you need it, and things like that that could have been otherwise if you didn't take care of that relationship. So well, I mean, life's too short. Life's too short, right, to burn those bridges. And I think there's always room to operate gracefully and lead with kindness. Like you could be direct with people, but there's a difference between being a pushover and being arrogant and being kind. And so for me, that's always what I want to do. That's always kind of been my personality anyway. Get it from my mom, you know. She's very much, but I also get the worrying and all that stuff from her too. So you get like the this and that, but I don't know, you grow up and you understand like, oh no, I'm my own individual, and like life is too short to not be kind to people. And that study that you're talking about with the deathbed thing, like I think it was like 75% of everyone that they talked to, their direct quote was something like that their regret was not living for themselves. They're living for other people and the opinions of other people. That's perfect. And I'm like, I don't want to get to that point, you know, because again, when I start thinking about my future and I start to think about these things, I don't think sometimes even about myself. Like, what do I want? Like, and I start to think about like how it's almost like you get that percept, like how do these people perceive me? And it's like, it doesn't matter. Really, it doesn't matter, you know? So I don't know. I think as long as I think if you're operating at that, you know, that free kind of will of, you know, you're kind of in that pocket, then I think you could walk into rooms and to situations and just be yourself. Just be yourself. So this is like my favorite topic, relationships. Oh, I could talk for hours on it. I could keep going. I have so many analogies and like things that are cruising through my head. Things that I've already said on this podcast 100 times. I bet. But I think that's a really great place to stop, to kind of wrap up. It kind of already leans itself into some advice too. We do have a question that we will do at the end of this podcast for everyone that comes. So the guest that we just had on asked you a question. It was probably one of my favorite questions. You don't have that ready, do you? You do. Okay. So he asked you a question, and then you're going to answer this question. But while you're answering this question, you play it. This is brilliant. Okay. While you're answering this question, I know it's hard to do two things at once, but be thinking about the question you want to ask the next guest, not knowing who it is. Very Diary of CEO of you, huh? That's exactly where I got it from. Like, I love that I think podcast. That's brilliant. With this theme, it lends itself to some pretty interesting questions. Great. That's awesome, man. Other than Landon's was the worst. What did he say? He goes, what is the last 5 saved Instagram videos on your phone? Like, bro, all like, what? Do something deeper. So I gave him some crap, but funny. Anyway, this is Dane Carlson. He's the owner of Wedge. Oh, cool. What is the number one thing in your life right now that has nothing to do with business? So if you couldn't hear it, what is the number one thing in your life right now? I forgot it. What is, that's right. We want to, this is like outside of the career, which is fun. What's one thing in your life that is happening outside of your business? It's a great question. Well, right now I'm trying to actually kind of split my time between Arizona and Colorado again. Cool. Yeah. Because again, I just got back from Telluride on that shoot. Yeah. And every time I go back to Colorado, I'm just like, oh, this is home. Like I miss this place. Yeah. And so
for me, I know that my heart is in Colorado, but I've got a lot of great opportunities that I love in Arizona. And so, people are like, oh, just move to Colorado, be good to go. But I love both.
Yeah.
And so I think there's an opportunity for me to try to split my time between the two. And that's actually not to try to get back into the business, but that's another thing I'm trying to do, is have clientele both in Colorado and in Arizona.
Cool.
And so that's kind of what I'm going to start with. But yeah, I think in my own personal life, I have this tension right now that I'm struggling with of, okay, how long am I going to be in Arizona for? And then how long is it going to be until like I move back to Colorado?
Yeah.
Because I got back from Telluride and I'm like, dude, I'm about to break my lease. I'm about to go down to the office right now and just get out of here. But I've got a year there still, and I know that year is going to go by quick. And there's opportunities that are already kind of in the pipeline that I have.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to just ditch those opportunities. Yeah. And I think there's always a way to do both. Yeah. So that's what I'm currently doing.
Your heart's in California, but your business is in Arizona.
Yeah.
So you're trying to put your business in
Colorado.
Colorado, not California. Trying to put your business in Colorado.
Yeah.
So you can do both.
Yep.
We'll just have to get you to Utah.
Dude, I'll be in the middle, bro.
Just come to the middle.
Hey, dude, I'm hopping a skip away, man.
I know, you're right there.
Didn't take me long to get here, so.
That's cool. Well, we're going to end it right there.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. Question. And if you could ask it to this camera.
Okay.
I think that'll be more interactive.
Man.
Putting you on the spot, though. Take your time.
Okay. I would ask, I think kind of what we talked about earlier, because this is something I'm deeply curious about because I struggle with it. How do you manage, and I wouldn't even say balance, I would say, how do you manage the personal life that you have and then your creative ambition? Like, how do you manage that? Especially in the busy season, when you're getting super busy and it seems like you're kind of all over the place. I'm always fascinated by people who are trying to manage both, because I am terrible at it. So I would love to know, how do you manage it?
Love that. So. Well, everybody, this is a filmmaker's journey. This is your guest, Steph Curry.
Yeah, dude.
Just kidding.
People ask me that all the time. Like, are you related?
You're related?
I'm like, dude, how?
What's his brother's name? Is it Blake?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. You're related to the Currys. Anyway, this is a filmmaker's journey. This is your guest, Blake Curry. Thanks for being on, man.
Of course, man. Glad to be here. Thanks.
Sweet. Big stretch.